And we're live.
Oh.
Skye, thank you. Seriously, thank you so much for coming on. I'm super, super excited that we were able to make it on very short notice. During a busy fight week. I know you're busy. You're not too hangry, I don't think. But thank you so much for taking the time.
No, thank you for having me on. I'm excited.
So, I told you a few seconds ago if there's something that the world doesn't know about you, still nothing?
Nothing's really come to me, but yeah, if you give me some prompt questions, you never know where our conversations could go.
It's exactly that. We'll get you there. But we were talking a little off air. We are Tuesday? Or is it Tuesday today?
Yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday, like 4 or 5 days out.
Yeah.
We know you don't get nervous, but have you started to think about or imagine the fight yet and what Saturday night's gonna look like?
Yeah, I've been imagining the fight since it was confirmed. So I do a lot of imagery. I see myself winning. I see myself doing certain things in the fight. I visualize the ring walking out to the ring. So yeah, it's nothing new, you know. You've already seen it in your mind before. So when it all happens, it's like kind of like your normal process.
And you already fought at MSG on the last Serrano Taylor card, yeah, which was insane.
Amazing.
And that was that was one of the best fights I think I've ever seen in my life. But so that was the main MSG.
Yeah.
And now you're at Hulu Theater. Which, have you ever been to Hulu Theater?
So the weigh-in for Taylor Serrano was at Hulu. Yeah.
And so I've been to a couple events actually, boxing events at Hulu. I think it's honestly I don't want to say a better energy, but it's like it's pretty cool. Like it's super intimate in a lot of ways. And there's like a lot of are you familiar with Heather Hardy?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's trained me a couple times.
Okay.
Trying to tailor in a little bit of my skills. So I saw her fight at Hulu Theater. Do you prefer more of an intimate setting or a big arena if it was up to you?
It doesn't really affect me either way. I've boxed in like all different size arenas, empty arenas, fully packed arenas. So yeah, when I step through the ropes, it doesn't really affect me, or I don't really mind either way.
Do you look at the crowd?
I like to take it all in the ring walk, yeah. But once I'm in the ring, it's just like tunnel vision.
How do you feel like in terms of, so we talked about the nerves, and I kind of wanted to dive into the psychological aspects. I think it's very interesting. You know, whether you're never nervous at all, you're still a human being. But talk about and you had spoken about on Ariel yesterday a little bit, but your sports psychologist and how that really helped, because I've had a bunch of athletes here, and they all say different things about sports psychologists. I'm curious to get your take on how that's really helped you.
So yeah, it was around 18, 19 years old when I started boxing in the seniors. And obviously competition became more serious. There was more on the line. I was wanting to make teams, whether it be for the World Championships, the Commonwealth Games, the Olympic Games. And I really struggled with performance anxiety. So I would have amazing spars in the gym when there was no pressure or expectation. And then I would go into fights and just freeze. And it was really frustrating me that I was having these amazing performances in the gym, and then I would go and fight and sometimes lose fights that I should never have lost just because of this performance anxiety and all this pressure I was putting on myself to perform. So yeah, I started seeing a sports psych because of that. I would get very, very nervous. But I think it was more the pressure and expectation I actually put on the fight itself rather than being nervous for the fight. But yeah, it was just like little tips and tricks at the start, trying to find what worked for me for a while. There was a lot of trial and error as well. Some things worked, some things didn't work. But for me, the biggest thing that I think changed my mindset around it was when I was walking into the ring for a fight, I was like, my self-talk was, you do this every day. It's just another day. This is another spa. Whatever happens, happens. It doesn't matter. And just trying to take all that pressure off myself that this isn't the be all end all. It's going to be okay, whatever happens.
You'll wake up tomorrow morning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just trying to like remove that pressure from myself. Like, as a 18, 19-year-old girl, I really needed that. And that's when I started seeing so much improvement and difference in my performances.
What do the conversations look like with a sports psych?
I mean, I've worked with a few different sports psychs and they all kind of have their own different ways of going about their sessions and things. But a lot of the time it is just kind of like a conversation, a bit like this right now. And they ask prompt questions to try and, I guess, figure out what it is or why it is that you might be feeling a certain way, or I guess what pressures or where the pressures are coming from. Is it coming from your family? Is it coming from a coach? Is it coming from just yourself and your own expectations? And trying to find, I guess, tools that will work for that individual person and what they might be going through.
For an 18 or 19-year-old Skye, where were the pressures coming from?
Mainly myself. I think because I was having such good performances in the gym, I just expected that it would be the same when I would go into fights. And I wasn't dealing with the nervous energy in a way that was going to benefit my performances. So it was just, finding ways for me to put that nervous energy into a more positive way. But yeah, it was lots of things. Like, another thing that another sports psych taught me about was literally like self-talk, not using negative words. Like, you can literally be thinking the exact same thing, but just in a different way.
Give me an example.
So thinking, I can't lose. I can't lose. I can't lose. More chance you're going to lose than saying, I need to win. I must win. I must win. So I must win and I can't lose. You think it's the same thing. But your brain's listening to lose instead of win. So literally little tools like that were like the biggest change for me. And yeah, it got to a point where like I barely even think about any of the tools anymore. Some of them probably just happen naturally, but they were like the stepping stone for me to get to a place where I could just feel confident and like positive in my performance zone.
It's probably also hard too when you know in the gym how good you are, and then you're like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, it was so frustrating because and it was frustrating for my coach and people around as well who were seeing these gym performances and then going, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
Because I would just get in there and freeze.
Like, what does freeze look like? Like, just kind of
like barely throwing punches, like just
come on, Skye.
like, yeah, just like going in there and going like straight into like survive mode in a fight that I should be dominating.
Right.
So yeah, it was quite frustrating for a little while there, but it's part of the process.
Do you feel like, you know, as you've continued and you've won and you've had success, that even the doubts that remain, because at the end of the day, you're a human being, do you actively feel how those doubts diminish as the success grows?
I mean, of course, success is always going to drive more confidence. But at the same time, the losses and the setbacks and the hardships that have kind of come along the way as well, I think all of those helped grow my resilience, my strength, my drive, my motivation. So without those times and without the losses along the way, I might not have, I guess, had the drive to keep going and keep trying and get to where I did end up going. Is
there a loss, and I have a guess as to which one it might be, but is there a loss that you think about the most?
Yeah, and it actually isn't the one that you're probably thinking about.
Which one do you think I was thinking about, Skye?
So obviously my loss at the Tokyo Olympics, which was actually my last amateur fight, was quite a public loss, obviously. Yeah. So everyone saw the heartbreak. Everyone saw how close I came to my lifelong dream, for that to be cut short. So obviously that was a very heartbreaking loss, but it's probably not the loss that sits with me the most.
Can you pinpoint the one that does?
I can.
Okay, tell me.
This was actually my
You
last.
seem pissed about this. Sounds like you do think
I don't
about
like
it.
losing.
I could tell.
I'm very competitive.
Skye,
I like winning.
I got that one. I got that one.
No, so this was actually my last loss in Australia, on home soil. I haven't lost since. This was in 2015.
Huh.
Yeah, still with me.
You're a baby.
I was a baby. I was 19, maybe just turned 20 actually. Okay. And it was the national selection event to go to the Rio Olympic qualifiers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that might even be worse.
Yeah. Because my Olympic dream was stolen from me.
And you're thinking like, at least if I get there, we'll figure it out when I'm there.
Yeah.
But.
So I was up against the favorite in the division, which was actually the weight division above where I ended up competing in the Olympics. So my weight division wasn't introduced until the following Olympics. So I went up a weight division to trial because it was the only option. And yeah, the national team had put a lot of time and money into this particular opponent. And she had already beat me a couple of times. I had boxed her as a 17-year-old, 18-year-old coming up. But I had been working with the sports psych. I walked around that venue like I owned the place. I was confident, cool, calm, collected, very, very confident in the changes I'd made in my training. I felt more prepared than I'd ever felt for a tournament. I just felt like it was my time, like I'm going to go to the Olympics. Like it had been my dream since the 2012 Olympics took place, where women's boxing was introduced for the first time at the Olympics. And as a 16-year-old girl watching that was the dream. Yeah, so at that time, women's boxing was 4 2-minute rounds. It eventually changed to 3 3-minute rounds, but at this time it was still 4 2-minute rounds. And myself and I would say 99% of the people in the room, maybe even 100%, were sure that I won.
Oh, straight robbery.
4 rounds. If not, you could maybe, if you were really trying to judge against me, give her 1 round. And when they said split decision.
Oh, your heart sinks. You're like, fuck.
No, even then I was like, okay, one of the judges
is on crack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
There's 2 others.
Yeah. No, split decision to her. So that one was 100%
robbery.
The hardest loss. I still watch that fight all the time.
Is it on YouTube?
It frustrates me so much. It's on Facebook. It's on like a really random page posted this fight.
With this no name person, what's her name? You don't want to say it.
It's not worth saying. It's not worth.
But I kind of want to. Okay.
I can link you.
Voldemort.
I'll link you the fight.
Okay, please.
Yeah.
Because I'm curious.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna go bias aside.
Yeah.
Even though, obviously I'll say it in your favor. I'm curious just to see what that looks like because we've seen some bad robberies.
Yeah.
But that's things. Well, that's things too because.
Yeah, I wanted to quit boxing after that.
Yeah.
And I haven't really felt that way in 15 years of boxing, except that time.
Well, because it's also like disgusting.
I've had bad decisions. Everyone gets them. But this one hurts so much. Like,
it's also because it like steals your dream away.
Yeah.
And it's not like oh, you got knocked out and my dream was taken. It's like
like it's actually,
according to you won the fight.
It's actually robbery.
It's robbery.
Yeah. So that one sits with me definitely more than any other loss.
Is this individual still boxing?
No. So she went on to the Rio Olympics.
How'd she do?
She lost in the first fight.
That must have pissed you off too.
Yes. But this is what I mean about when I said the setbacks, the hard times. I think if I had gone on and got the decision in that fight, went on, qualified for the Olympics, or maybe not qualified, but say I qualified for the Olympics, went to Rio, because it is still quite a hard process from past that point to actually qualify. Australia qualifies through Asia, and the lightweight girls in Asia are amazing.
They're beasts?
Yeah, they're beasts. So there was still a process ahead, but I was robbed of that opportunity to go and do that. But I also think I might have made the Olympics as a 20-year-old, gone, lost in the first fight, like she did, and settled for that. But the fact that I didn't make it made me so much hungrier for Tokyo. So much so that I went on and won a World Championship medal, the Commonwealth Games gold medal, and then qualified for Tokyo in those coming years after that, after what happened, which I might not have ever gone and done if I had gone to Rio and settled for being an Olympian at Rio and that was it and moving on. So I do think everything happens for a reason, and I think maybe I was a bit young and maybe wasn't ready for what could have happened. Maybe I could have. Maybe I could have. It could have been amazing. I could have been a 2-time Olympian by now. I don't know. You never know. But I do feel like everything happens for a reason, and that was just part of my journey and something that I had to go through to go on and do what I did and what I'm still doing.
Are you happy with where you're at now?
Very, very, very happy.
So, I think, and we'll talk about other things as well, but I feel like what I admire about you and your life in general is also, I think, the way that you've handled hardships, whether they be personal, whether they be professional. And I think it's a good lesson, that you can sit here today with a smile on your face and confidently say that you're happy with where you're at now, and on Saturday night you're fighting at Madison Square Garden. You know what I mean? So I think for people listening out there, it's like, when you talk about wanting to quit boxing and dealing with something like that sounds completely unfair, and I'll take a look when you send me the link on Facebook. Damn, poor woman. No name. We're really not rocking with her name. But I think that Paul's laughing. Have you seen this fight? She got robbed. You haven't even showed Paul?
Yeah.
Robbed.
Well, that was kind of the trigger.
No name.
No name at all.
She who shall not be named.
It's like straight Voldemort out here. Voldemort. Yeah. She who shall not be named. I wonder if she's ever going to watch something like this. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. We're not friends on Facebook.
Something tells you guys are not best friends. I put that one together. But I think it's a good lesson, and then speaking of the future too, and you were talking about it with Ariel yesterday, and for people who haven't checked that out, that was an awesome hour long, phenomenal dart skills, I gotta tell you.
Thank you. Surprised myself.
I think you're straight lying.
Ariel keeps saying that too.
I don't believe.
He's like, we are convinced you have definitely played before. I threw my first dart yesterday.
No. You hit like a 19 and then like a triple 18 and then some.
I know. I nearly hit the bullseye on that third one.
I feel like you're like straight bluffing right now.
I promise you.
like, you know what? Props to you.
I feel like I should actually go and take up darts.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I might have a new calling.
You might, if boxing doesn't work out.
Yeah. I don't think I even have a steady hand. I don't know what happened. I'm telling you.
I think you have a steady hand. You box.
When I see artists and like people doing tattoos and stuff, it gives me anxiety because I just think about my hands being like.
Yeah, I always wonder how they do that.
I know.
You have tattoos?
Yeah, I do.
I don't have any. They like put something over. Like they have to sometimes put something over.
Like a stencil, you mean?
Yeah, like a stencil.
Yeah, so they like stick on like a ink stencil and they follow the lines.
Just imagine.
Some of them just do freehand.
Just imagine the pressure.
I know. I couldn't do it. It gives me anxiety just thinking about it.
No, me too.
Even makeup artists, and that's not permanent. But I think I watch girls doing makeup on me, and I'm like, the pressure you must be feeling right now is honestly, I'm feeling
it's not even
anxious
on yourself. It's
for
like
you.
on somebody else.
Yeah.
And you feel like a dummy, and you're like a makeup artist. Like that's your job.
Exactly.
Yeah, fuck. Oh, we're really going down the rabbit hole.
No steady hand here.
Yeah. I'm telling you. Wait, real quick before we got sidetracked. So, I was listening to you talk about the prospects of Paris 2024. Mm-hmm. I'm reading right through it. You're gonna be in Paris 2024. It's
a process. Like it's not just I want to go to the Olympics and I'm just on the team.
Yeah, but
it's a big process. So when I say any professional fighter can come back and go to the Olympics, they still have to go through the whole qualifying process, and it's not easy.
How many fights is it?
It's harder to make the Olympics than to win the Olympics.
How many fights is the whole qualifying?
So you're going to have, I'm going to say 3 to 5 fights you have to win through national level, and then you have to go through the continental qualifiers. And you're up against the best in the world, and you can draw the best girl first and you're out. It's not like, it's knockout competition. And that's the same in the national level as well. Like, whoever draws me first, that's it. That's them gone. Ding. Yeah. And, but like, in all seriousness, like you can draw the world champion in the first round and the top 3 go, right? But if you're not meeting one of them at the end, if you're meeting them in the first round, you're out. You could be the second best in the division. You're not going.
Wait, how often do you have? How much time between those fights though?
So each tournament. So there's the tournaments start in July. That's the national process. July? Yeah, that's what I mean. Shit. Like, there's a lot to weigh up. February? I've got things to do.
I know.
Yeah, I got world titles to win.
Yeah.
So there is a lot. Like I know what you're saying, and in theory, of course, I want to go to Paris. I want to go to the Olympics. But like I said to Ariel yesterday, you have to be all in. It's not just, I'll go to the Olympics and win the gold medal. It's like you have to live and breathe that. That has to be your whole life. And I can't just be like, I'm going to be a world champion. I'm going to be an Olympic gold medalist within a few months of each other, and that's fine. Like, I mean,
dream big, Skye.
Yeah. No dream is too big, but I mean, there's a lot to take into consideration.
And what matters more to you, being undisputed world champion or an Olympic gold medal? If you could only pick one, I know you want both.
Why are you doing this to me?
I know.
An Olympic gold medal is, for me, the pinnacle. There's not like anything really that beats that, in my opinion. If you win the Olympic gold medal in boxing, you are the best of the best. That's my opinion. Each to their own. Professional boxing, there's a lot of politics. People can pick and choose their way to the top. Amateur boxing, you have to be ready for anyone and everyone. Mm-hmm. And you have to fight the best. And you have to beat the best to get to the top. And yeah, it's hard. It's really hard.
It is really hard. I kind of feel like, well, too, the thing is like leaving the politics of it. Well, the politics in boxing are fucking horrific.
They're horrific in the pros and the amateurs, to be fair.
Right. But I feel like to deny yourself, well, it's like to say, okay, if you went the other route of, I just want to go towards world championships, I'll skip the Olympics, which you already just took a breath. Like, it sounds like not the number one route, but like say you did skip the Olympics and you went to just focus on trying to be undisputed world champion. Like, there's so many steps before that in politics. It kind of feels like, and so much power in other people's hands. Mm-hmm. I feel like that kind of sucks too. Like, you know what I mean? Also, like, Paris. I'm French. I'm half French. So, like, gold medal in Paris.
Yeah.
I don't know if you like the French. You're living in London too, so they're not huge fans.
I've only been to Paris or to France, but I went to Paris once.
Just once?
And it was for a weekend. Because I was living in London and I was like, wow, I can just go to Paris for the weekend.
Did you like it?
For an Australian, that's really exciting. I loved it. I did love it. I want to spend more time there. I really enjoyed it.
It's like an hour and a half on the Eurostar.
I know. Amazing, right?
You gotta get going. Or like the south of France too.
Yeah, I really want to like see more of France.
Marseille, Nice, all the like bougie Saint-Tropez.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you would love it.
They're bucket list.
That's what I'm saying.
Bucket list experiences for me.
It's way warmer. It's way more warmer than this shit. Wait, before I forget, I heard you're going to Dubai next week.
I am.
I'm going to be in Dubai next week.
Oh my God.
I know. You said, when are you, Monday?
Yeah, I leave Monday.
You have family there?
Yeah, my sister moved there last week, literally.
No, wait, really?
Yeah. And
Where is she in Dubai?
I actually don't know.
Jumeirah? Jumeirah?
Maybe. That sounds kind of familiar. Okay. Is that where you're going to be?
No, I don't know. I have to figure out where I'm staying, but I'll be there a couple days. But that's motivation for us for the next to get through the next week. I mean, your next week is a little bit more difficult than mine, but
yeah, but minus 17 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but that is the forecast for Saturday fight day.
Oh, I don't know. I was checking that. Yeah, 7 degrees Fahrenheit. I saw this.
7.
Do you know how cold that is? Have you ever felt that?
I know how cold that is in Celsius, and it is really cold.
Oh, that's like.
I don't think I've ever been in that cold before.
You were in Detroit though, yeah?
Yeah, but it wasn't. It got to -3. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but minus 17 is.
Wait, yeah. So you're just gonna go hotel straight bundled up to MSG.
I literally said to my team, I was like, I'm not leaving my hotel room on fight day. I will be getting Uber Eats.
That's when. Yo, I hear you're an Uber Eats star, and I like.
I think I should be sponsored by Uber Eats.
Oh, wait.
That would be like a dream sponsorship. Can we work on that?
Yeah, Paul, let's get to it. And so for people that don't know what we're referring to. When you came back from Tokyo,
the Olympics, yeah,
and Australia was fucking bugging out with these quarantines for 2 weeks, like jail system over there. Mm-hmm. You had a real good. It's the only time you can share your location, right?
Yeah,
your exact location, literally to your door.
Yeah,
and you had a lot of fans, I guess, sending you lots of meals to your quarantine hotel room.
Yeah, I had my first ever Philly cheesesteak.
It goes crazy now.
Oh my god.
With like,
I became an instant fan. That's some good shit.
That is some good shit, no?
Yeah. With like, mac and cheese on the side.
No way. Wait. How many meals a day were you getting?
Honestly, some days it was like a little bit ridiculous. Like I actually ended up wasting a bit of food, which I'm not. I'm not a food waster. If there is food in front of me, that's getting eaten. That's how I was brought up.
See, I like that. You don't strike me as a picky eater too.
Oh.
Oh, you're picky? Oh,
I mean...
Paul's giving me a look. Come on.
I don't like seafood.
Oh, Jesus. Paul, we got to work on that.
Which is ridiculous for an Australian. Because we get some nice fresh seafood. No. See, I like chicken and avocado sushi. I like Western sushi.
Chicken and avocado sushi.
It's a big thing in Australia.
No. Oh, my God.
I know. People get so offended when I talk about it.
No. People would hate
But yeah, sashimi, raw fish.
You ever had an oyster?
No. I had one.
You threw up?
Basically. May as well have. But I held myself together because I was in a fancy restaurant. But
you gotta wait. Wait, so you're a picky eater?
I'm not a picky eater, but I don't like seafood. And like a few other little bits.
Like what?
Like black olives.
Oh, you said it so quick. Really? It's like a Greek salad, not it.
I can have a Greek salad without olives.
Wait. So how many meals were coming to you? Like,
okay.
Honestly.
So like
20, 30 a day?
So like sometimes I would have a ding and there'd be like a family meal thing from McDonald's or something. And then like while I'm eating it, it'll be like ding. And then there'll be like Philly cheesesteak and mac and cheese in front of me. And I've got like Big Macs, fries, nuggets. And then there'll be like ding. And there'll be like another burger come in. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is just too much.
You must have put on a little weight.
I put on weight. Oh, right. Yeah, and I didn't have scales in there either. So I didn't know how bad it was till I got out of there. But yeah, it was 14 days of a lot of eating. Wait,
so you would just hop on Instagram Live. You would plug your address. You'd be like...
No, so I put up the story once of my hotel details.
And people were
everyone knew the Australian Olympic team, what hotel they were staying at.
Oh.
And I wrote room 4301 or whatever it was. Send me some love. That's all I wrote. Send me some love. And the food just came and came and came. It was a good time.
Wait, every day for 14 days?
Yeah. It was on the news and everything, so people were really getting into it.
It is kind of fun.
It was fun.
So you had like a fun quarantine.
Yeah, well, I made the most of a pretty shitty situation.
Wait, and you couldn't like vibe out with the other athletes?
So Caitlin, like one of my best friends, she was my roommate. We were together for literally, I'm going to say 4 months straight, 24/7.
Jeez. She wasn't
sick of you? She had COVID, I had COVID. Yeah. If I had COVID, she had COVID. And we got there from Tokyo after an emotional roller coaster of all the experiences that came with the Olympics. And they were like, no, you can't room together. Everyone in individual rooms.
Unreal.
And we were like, but, yeah, it was hard. We FaceTimed a lot while we ate all our meals.
Wait, did they send her some meals?
I mean, people all kind of jumped on the bandwagon when they saw how much love I was getting. So yeah, we were all kind of eating.
Wait, would people send you can't send like a note on Uber Eats. It can be like, oh, this is from Josh.
Their names were on it because
Oh.
it was their Uber Eats that they were sending it on. So I got some names, and then other ones I'd get like DMs being like, did you get this? Did you get that? Did you get my gift?
Yeah, but I was too full. I had to throw it away.
I know. No,
tough.
it was pretty fun. Like, we made the most of it, but also like companies were sending like the whole team stuff as well.
Oh, that's nice.
So like one of the local Pizza Huts like sent us all a pizza, and there was like a nice note like in the pizza box, like written on the box, like, you did us all so proud.
Yeah.
Love the Domino's Brisbane team, or Pizza Hut Brisbane, or whatever it was. So.
Is after like an emotional roller coaster like Tokyo was, who are you happiest to see after all that? Was it family? Was it friends? Was it both?
Yeah, both. I think both.
What were the conversations
My dog.
like? Oh.
My doggy dog.
What's your dog's name?
So I have a dog in Australia. His name's Dougie. He's a
Dougie.
Cocker Spaniel.
Oh, that's cute.
I actually have him tattooed on me.
No way.
You want to see?
Yeah, I do want to see.
That's my dog there. He's
that is
really
adorable.
cute. Yeah.
I don't think anybody can see that, but
No, sorry.
How old is
And he's 5. 5?
you miss him?
He's 5. I do miss him. He's like the one thing that makes me homesick, really. Like, more than anything.
Not the parents, not.
No, yeah. They come to my fights. They're here in New York.
Oh yeah, they just landed, didn't they?
Yeah, they got in last night. But yeah, no, I do. I miss my dog, and I actually got a mini wiener dog, as you guys call them
We
here.
do. Isn't that horrible?
My little sausage dog, in London.
Oh.
Yeah, so I couldn't take Dougie to London.
So you have 2.
Yeah, so
But Dougie doesn't feel like you're cheating on him with what's the other one's name?
Tito.
Oh, you don't have him tattooed?
Not
You
yet.
don't love him enough.
He's only like 4 months old.
Okay,
He's
fair enough.
just a baby.
Wait, that's adorable.
He's really, really cute. Keeping up with the Dashend on Instagram.
Oh,
Yeah.
you've got the whole gram.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's
I'll
really
make
cute.
sure to
He's a very
follow.
cool dog. Yeah.
Make sure that you guys follow Skye's second dog account.
Sir Douglington is the other account. That's Dougie.
Dog LinkedIn.
Sir Douglington.
Sir, oh, that's cute.
Yeah, he's really cute.
Sir Douglington
Yeah.
and
Tito. Keeping up with the Dashend.
Jesus. No, I respect
I'm a
it.
dog mom.
No, I could tell. I got that one. But what are the conversations like? I'm curious, like when you get back and also you can't see your family right off the bat, and then you're able to see them, like.
So I actually, in hindsight, I kind of liked having that time alone to debrief with myself everything that happened, and kind of just like process it all in my mind before actually having to go out and socialize with family, friends, and everything again. So, I mean, it was shitty, and obviously everyone was so excited to see us coming back, and we didn't kind of get the welcoming back home that we would normally get from an Olympic Games. But yeah, it was quite sad actually seeing like Team USA and that getting back, and they had like street parades and stuff, and we're literally like locked in a jail. But I did I remember reflecting a lot in there because you're kind of just alone with your thoughts. The days were quite long. So I actually do think that I kind of made the most of that opportunity to just like be with myself and debrief on a huge few months. Like, we were away for months before the Olympics. Because Australia was still basically in lockdown. So we got out and were training with other national teams. We were actually in the USA for about a month, training with Team USA in Colorado. We were in Japan for a few weeks before going to Tokyo, another part of Japan, Miyazaki. yeah, it was like a long time away from home, a long time away from family and friends, and obviously a lot happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so yeah, I took that time to kind of just like digest it all, I guess, really, before being back with everyone and going back to normal real life.
Do you feel an extra pressure, and we'll go into it in a second as well, but because of your family name and what that means to people that understand and know Australian boxing, you know, and they know, and for people, you know, and I hate to bring it up every time, but I think it's important for the audience to know, especially if they watch the aerial, the reason that I'm bringing that up is because of your brothers, Gavin and Jamie, and Jamie specifically, who was, some regard him as the best Australian boxer, who sadly passed away. And I think that for a lot of people, they see the Nicholson last name and they think, you know, they know what that means. Mm-hmm. Do you feel that extra pressure to be a Nicholson?
I think I definitely did early on in my career, because I was kind of known as Jamie's sister. Mm-hmm. But also there was like a long kind of period between his boxing and my boxing. So it wasn't like my older brother was a couple of years older than me, and like everyone that was on the scene for him was on the scene for me. It was like very new, different, I guess, like generations of boxing. So it was kind of separated. But obviously the people that knew the history and the people that were involved in boxing for a long time definitely knew. So there was that extra added pressure. And obviously, like, my family stayed involved in boxing. My dad was secretary of like the state where I lived, of the boxing committee for like 20 years. So people obviously knew me as his daughter as well. So there was like that added expectation and pressure, I think. But I think as I started like finding my own success and going and doing the things that I did, like I felt that less and less, and it became more of just pressure of myself and my own name to perform. But for me personally, I feel like I always want to make, I guess, people proud of my family and my family name. And I know that I'm always representing my family and the Nicholson name and my brothers. And I do carry that with me and always have since I started boxing.
I also, you know, when I was watching the aerial interview yesterday, I watched it this morning. I got goosebumps when you were talking, literally goosebumps when you were talking about the first time that you watched Jamie's boxing, and I'll sum it up for people who haven't watched the aerial, not to spoil it, but basically that you started boxing at 12 years old, and the first time that you had seen your brother Jamie boxing was, I think, around 18 or 19, mm-hmm. And that you guys basically have the exact same style, which must be fucking weird.
Yeah, it's so weird because it's not just like, oh, a come forward brawler that has like a high gut. Yeah, it's a very specific style, and it's not just like a style that can be taught. It's a very like natural instinct mm-hmm. kind of style. Yep. Very evasive, very like everything's instinctive. It's not something that you can train. Yeah. It's all just like this natural timing and gauge of distance. And I hadn't seen anyone box like me until I'd seen that.
Were you not interested between the ages of 12 and 18 as to maybe what his style looked like or what it looked like?
I always heard it in passing comments and just kind of went, oh, that's nice. Like people say, I obviously wasn't as good as him. That's what I would think in my head. Like, oh, I'm like, people say I box like him, but it's like, that's a nice compliment. But I never actually, it didn't register.
Were you alone in that room when you were watching?
I actually think my brother was there. My oldest brother, Alan. Coach. Yeah. I'm pretty sure we found it together and sat and watched it from memory. This is like 10 years ago, to be fair. But I just remember being so gobsmacked. Like, really, really weird.
That's like
it was like I was watching a video from the 80s or 90s or whenever it was of myself boxing and was just like,
that's got to be
that's like, a bit weird. Yeah. This is weird.
And it's true too, because like for people who haven't watched you or your brother, it's like, and people that might not understand or really care for boxing, it's like you have a very, like, as you were saying, an elusive, you know, reflexive, like, you know, in and out, like, don't get hit, you know, counters. And especially the southpaw too, it's like to see that it must, I don't know, I think I'd be fucking
Yeah.
weirded the fuck out.
And I think like it kind of, it took me back to like the early days when I first started boxing at 12, 13, how emotional mum and dad were to me boxing
Oh. Yeah.
and their reaction to it. Like mum would,
Imagine for
like mum
them.
would cry and be like, "You're just like him and you've got the headgear on." And I was like, what is wrong with her?
Yeah.
But like as an adult watching it, I was like,
And imagine being your mom and dad seeing that.
I know. But as a 12, 13-year-old, you don't understand it. You're just like, okay, God, you're so embarrassing. Stop. Why are you crying? I'm fine. I didn't even get hit. Come on.
I think also, and you know, just looking at it from the outside, and it must be, you know, and I can't even imagine all the things that your parents and your family have been through. But in a way, must be, there's a beauty to being able to see their little baby girl, you know, like being able to see their son in you and carrying that pride of the family. And I think that, like, you know, when I'm hearing your story, I think that it's beautiful, you know what I mean? Like, and I can't even, I almost wish that also your parents were here too, to be able to ask them what that's like, you know, because for them,
you don't want them here.
They're crazy.
Yeah, they're a lot.
They're
a lot.
You know, I feel like most parents are, though.
They are.
And the ones that love
I
you
am very lucky.
And the ones that love the most are generally the ones that are.
Dad wouldn't let us talk.
Oh, really?
He would take this and just
and he'd be like, Skye, you can go for a walk. But it must be a, you know, a roller coaster of a life for them to experience all that.
I could never like imagine what they were. I don't think any parent should ever have to lose a child, let alone two. They've been through a lot.
Do you ever have moments where you feel maybe like a spiritual like presence of Jamie or Gavin in you when you're boxing, or even just maybe day to day?
Honestly, like so much.
Like what?
Mostly with the boxing stuff. Mm-hmm. Like I touched on it a little bit with Ariel yesterday, but just like that comfort of being on this journey and going through exactly what he went through. I think it's always kind of been with me. Mm-hmm. And I feel like he is always there with me, like Jamie especially. I see like old photos of him on teams and trips away and stuff, and it was just literally like the same journey that I've been on, but like 20 years earlier. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's a really weird feeling, but I do like, I pray before every fight, and when I have like my little chat with God before I fight, I always say like, I know Jamie and Gavin are there with me, like watch over me and protect me during the fight, protect my opponent. But yeah, I kind of walk out knowing they're with me. Mm-hmm. I think it's quite cool.
I think it's super cool.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that I'm sure there's even other moments that you don't even realize where you mm-hmm. probably feel it as well now.
Yeah.
Even some day to day.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And it is like, it is like I said yesterday, a bit of a like comfort blanket almost, mm-hmm. like just like I do take comfort in knowing that I have that extra thing that not many people would have.
Well, and also I think for me, the way that why I appreciate and admire not just your story, but your family's story is to show the power of family, you mm-hmm. know, and I think family looks different for everybody and their tragedies and their things that happen. But at the end of the day, I think, you know, in a lot of ways, I'm sure that your parents also appreciate you and your siblings that are able to be here, you know, and that probably in a lot of ways has brought you closer together, yeah. I'd imagine.
Yeah, I think definitely. Especially like me and my brother and sister, we're all so spread out in age. Mm-hmm. Like I'm 27, my sister's 36, and my brother's 52. Like...
How long have your parents been married?
53 years, I think, something like that. Yeah. Coming up 54, I think. Coming up 54 years. Yeah, so mum and dad have been together since mum was 16 and dad was 18. And they're like in their 70s. I don't know how they did that, but
you think
they
you'd be
did.
Married for 54 years? Do you think you'd be married for 54 years?
I mean, they started at 16 and 18, and I'm already
Yeah,
27, so it's not looking good.
Fuck.
That's a lot of catch up. But yeah, no, yeah, they've been together for a long time. So, but yeah, me and my brother and sister, I think we are so close for siblings that are so,
Right.
like, we're literally all in different generations.
What's the secret, do you think, to and in your observational view of them, what do you think is the secret to being together for that long?
I mean, I don't know if I'm an advocate for it. Like, I don't know how,
Oh, yeah. Well, there's that too.
I mean, obviously they didn't go through the social media era
Yeah, see, I
and
think
everything
it's
that really
too.
affects
I think
relationships.
it's that too.
I think the world's just a different place now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was probably a lot of times that they could have not made it
Hey, of
together.
course. I'd imagine over 54
Especially,
years.
yeah, and especially like they've been through some shit. But I think also they are obviously from a very traditional era where if you get married, you're together forever.
Yep.
And I love that. But it's not it's not quite viewed like that these days. I think people change and evolve and grow apart, and that should be accepted as well.
Yeah.
But yeah. They've stayed together.
Hey, they have.
They've grown and
And you have to
grown and
respect it.
changed and grown apart as well, but they stayed together.
I respect it. I'd be so curious to ask them that question.
Yeah.
But last couple of things. What do you now boxing? You know, it's kind of clear what those goals are. And I mean, you know, do you give yourself a timeline? Like, I want to be, well, whether you do end up going the Olympic route or don't, or undisputed world champion. Do you give yourself a timeline from a boxing perspective?
I mean, I don't put too much pressure on it. I think like I'm always kind of just going with where my journey's taking me at the time. But I do eventually like want to settle down, have kids, all that kind of
How many?
stuff. Oh God, haven't thought that far into it.
You have 2 dogs, so
Yeah. They live on opposite sides of the world.
yeah, that's
so.
crazy. Who
Does-
takes care of the one in back home? Home. Oh, it's okay. I get a little bit of a secret in it.
No.
Yeah, you do your thing. I respect it. Okay, somebody takes care of it back home. Next conversation.
My ex-boyfriend's
This is good.
yeah, so he was like the baby daddy of Dougie.
Wait. So the ex-boyfriend takes care of it.
No, his parents.
Bastard.
Yeah. So he started like staying there a bit. Dougie started staying at my ex-boyfriend's parents like
Respect to them, though.
quite regularly, and they love him. Like they're like basically his child.
Wait, I have questions.
Okay.
It's like, how's it work when Dougie wants to see his mom?
So whenever I'm back, I can see him whenever I want. Like I can go pick him up and have him the whole
Like a straight
time.
custody battle over this dog.
No, not really. So it's like it's very civil.
Okay.
Everyone's friends. It's fine. But like they still send me photos and videos of him all the time, and like we have a good relationship. And whenever I come back home, I just go get him and see him. So it's fine.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And then just in general, not boxing related, like, what do you hope other than maybe a family and etc. Like,
Career-wise, you mean more?
I guess more just like, what do you hope at 40 or 50 years old, like life looks like for Skye Nicolson at that point?
I'm dreading ever being that old.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry to break it to you, but one day it will happen.
I don't know. I feel like I never have like really thought too far ahead into the future about things. Like I'm very live in the moment type person, kind of follow where life takes me as it comes. And like when you have a plan and then it doesn't go to plan, I feel like that's quite stressful. So I don't really have a plan anymore. But I would like to continue being an advocate for women's boxing and for boxing in general. I want to retire from boxing as one of the greatest female fighters of all time. I think that's, yeah, it's a big thing about legacy for me. Like I want to leave a legacy that, I guess, inspires that next generation and following generations as well.
And in 100 years from now, when people say the name Skye Nicolson, what do you want them to think about or say about you?
I guess one of the greatest fighters of all time, an advocate for women's boxing, someone who helped grow the sport into what it is today. I want to be like the people's champion as well. Do you know what I mean? Like I do want to be one of the best fighters of all time, but I want to be liked and remembered for who I am, like outside of the ring and away from the ring as well. I want to inspire girls to chase their dreams and be who they are, and all of that stuff too.
And a dog mom.
And dog mom.
Well, I just want to thank you so much again for making the time. Thank you to Paul as well. For getting this in on a big fight week. It was really a pleasure to sit down and talk to you. And whether it's Olympics, whether it's World Championships, I think that I have a lot of admiration and respect for everything that you're doing. So, I'm rooting for you, and I know that the world is as well. And I have no doubts that whatever it is that you decide you want to do, you will get there. But in the meantime, good luck on Saturday night. Unfortunately, I was hoping to maybe be here, but I'm going to the Middle East.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to the Middle East on Saturday night. So,
oh,
but
shitty timing, really.
But maybe see you in Dubai, maybe see you down the road. But truly a pleasure to have you on. Thank you for taking the time.
Nah, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it. It's really good. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you, Skye. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram at felix.levine. And if you have something to say, please leave a comment.